from before World War II has probably seen the K-neck ceilings. Well, that's press board. That's from cane fiber, and it still holds up to this day pretty well.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some formaldehyde or something else in there that we don't want to talk about, but you know, it had the potential to provide a local building material where we have, you know, virtually all our building materials except for sand and gravel are imported, right? All our lumber and press board, gypsum board, all of that. So, you know, it was an idea that, you know, I thought was a good idea at the time, but it was very short-lived. It ran into some problems. Steve Holliday, their plantation manager, said, I think we invested in the wrong kind of equipment. It didn't really work out. So, yeah. Okay, who was next?
Kevin.
Somebody over here? Oh, Kevin, okay.
Okay, two questions real quick. So the Charter Commission, when will that be voted on? Would that be the next election? These particular...
They have two more public meetings, and in those meetings they're deliberating on proposals that have already come to them. They're not going to come up with any new ones at this late stage. So there is a list on the county website. There's a link, and you can see the things that they...
But there will be the public will be voting on
they would go on the ballot for next year.
2012.
And so it's an opportunity for the voters to say, do we want to support more environmental protection and sustainability as it's proposed here on my voter's ballot or not? For instance, in 2006, there was a proposal that said, shall we split the Department of Public Works and Environmental Management into two separate departments, which we now have. The voters said yes, and the rationale was this was a huge department. It had about 25% or more of the county budget, and had almost 500 individuals. So to have just one director for 5 different divisions, it was unwieldy. So now we have 2 departments and 2 directors and deputies. So there's a little better focus.
Sure.
So that's the kind of...
So I just want to know if it was like 2012, if people are going to...
Yeah, it'll be on next year's ballot. Whatever they send forward will go on next year's ballot.
So other questions?
Yeah.
One of the meetings?
Yeah, and they meet in the planning commission, in the planning conference room, next to the county building.
So my other question was, so a couple of these concerns about, you know, how we can utilize HCNS's land. One of my thoughts was, and my concerns is actually, is that going to benefit the public in having our electric bill going down? Because, you know, it's great to replace, you know, fossil fuel, but if it's not getting our electric to go down, then what's the benefit? You know, for example, you know, the wind farm has been up for 4 years or something. My electric bill hasn't gone down.
Right.
It's gone down. So
Yeah.
so, but I think, you know, I think the what is it, what was it, that other where you dig geothermal, I think that might be something. But like talking about the defense utilizing for their purposes, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. You know, it should be for the county, not for the public.
Yeah, ultimately the matters of electric rates go to the Public Utility Commission. And we can have some say with advocates, you know, from this administration, but there's 3 people that are appointed by the governor on the Public Utilities Commission that are hearing these very complicated dockets for rate proposals. And when a power provider comes in and works with the utility and says, here's our idea, you know, it's a big, long, involved process, and there are opportunities, you know, for public intervention and discussion and input.
Sure. Well, let's hope so.
Yeah. Who is next? Do you all know? Yeah, who hasn't asked a question? Go ahead.
So one of the reasons that they keep the land is so that they can have their water rights and making sure the possibility of building. That's one reason to grow sugarcane. And I was wondering if they did something like solar that didn't use water or wind, would they lose their rights? Like, would they be motivated to do that, or would they lose their rights?
You know, those are good questions, and I'm not going to attempt to answer for them, but I mean, my idea is that whatever we come up with ought to be a win-win. It's got to be a win-win for the community because we're the ones feeling the impact. It's got to be a win-win for them if they're going to be economically viable and environmentally